Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. And so we are still trying to do the face cam thing. Honestly, you're gonna notice because I'm looking at myself in there, making sure that it looks right. I'm looking at my notes here, I'm looking at the camera there, and so if my eyes are darting around, I am genuinely so sorry. I am still getting used to this. A lot of people wanted it, and I've been saying that I was gonna do it for like a year now, but I never really actually made it happen. And so I'm just like, you know what? Life's short, make it happen. You're having fun, and do it. People are gonna be like, why the hell have you done a second tier list video? Because the contents are largely gonna be the same, guys. Like I have basically the same document of points. They're a little finessed a little bit more than last video, but it's largely the same content. But what I had was there was a significant amount of audio issues. Let's see if I can get this into, oh, that was a little too far. My setup is a little janky still, but I have a Yeti on like an arm. There's been a lot of setup for this, guys, and everything is still kind of in the mix. It's just like my backdrop is far from perfect. It's very far from perfect. Actually, that being said, I just noticed I'm wearing my headphones. I should take those off for a recording video. I don't know. I'm new to this. Is this better? Forgive me, I am still learning this. I am really based off of comments and feedback, and thank you. So for this video, we are actually going to be starting out with the Paladin for tanks, and if you watched my last video, you would have seen I brilliantly left Paladin out when I was editing, and I'm like, oh my god. So we're going to do the Paladin some justice here. And so for me, to be quite honest, with this, how to say it, Shadowbringer's Paladin is something that I didn't talk about nearly enough. It was something that I actually love from top to bottom. And for Endwalker, really all I'm seeing with like the confetti combo, and that is 100% what I'm calling it, is the confetti combo, is just more evolution to it. I think that it is going to be brilliant. Like that successive combo of swords is what I'm calling the confetti combo. I'm sorry for nothing in advance. I'm not. Functionally, though, it is basically the exact same as it is in Shadowbringers. Like when I'm looking actually through the toolkit at the amount of healing, at the amount of utility that it gets, I'm really feeling like the Paladin's really coming into its own with so much sustain. It, like Holy Sheltron, for instance, is a bizarre amount of sustain, even if the potency numbers change, because I know media tutor potencies can change, blah blah blah, yeah, but it's just like you still have that. Divine Veil, not only is it giving you a berry, but it's also going to be giving you more sustain, and that is going to be amazing. It's just like they have the utility gambits that they have cover, they have passage of arms, they have all of these amazing, very very bulky, powerful support skills. And like even when I look at Spirits Within, and Spirits Within is going to be something that the raiding community has been talking a hell of a lot about, and has used that as a very valid reason for why the Paladin should be the de facto off tank. If you're main tanking on Paladin, a lot of raiders that I know personally are like, nah, you're off tanking, get out of there, make it so that the Gunbreaker Warrior Dark Knight's going in there instead. But Spirits Within, sorry, to the point, is Spirits Within currently does less damage if you have taken damage, making it so that the Paladin is more of an off tank rather than a main tank, because you don't want to lose the damage potency. Ultimately in 14, most concern at the highest ends of raiding is not around necessarily like utility does play a factor, but it's largely about damage. And so Spirits Within, again, that is very good. You can't see my hands. Very good. So it's gonna be good. I just realized, like, my camera, maybe I should lower it, but I will try that probably next video. We'll see. But yeah, the only problem with the Paladin in general is I don't see myself enjoying tanking as much as other roles. I have done a lot of tanking this expansion. I tanked the entire first tier of Savage. I've done a lot of tanking before that in Stormblood. I love the Paladin. If it wasn't for that, it'd be in an S tier. It is really looking really strong. It already is very strong, but like, how to say it is going to be my main tank for Endwalker, but the question is, how much will I want to tank really for the Paladin? Now it is time to talk about Bay, aka Warrior, which I have played a disgusting amount, especially in Stormblood, and I have my big, girthy, meaty axe. And as some people found out in the last video or asked is this Shadowmourne? And yes, it's Shadowmourne. No, Blizzard, you're not taking that joy away from me. And I'm looking at myself in the camera and I'm like, is the axe getting in the view? This is gonna be a while till I get used to this. But love it, love it, love it, love it. Big, I like big axes and I cannot lie. Wait, did I just actually make like a clippable moment? Oh, fuck. I like big axes and I cannot lie. So other paladins may deny. But you see, it is not only big axes that I like. I also, you know, how do I get this into the camera? This is so janky. And yes, I absolutely have a knobby thing on the tip. Oh my gosh. And I'm trying to like hold this and I'm just like, yes, you bet I have it. Of course. My entire setup's not done yet. This thing behind me is like a temporary disaster. I have plans. Oop, I'm supposed to go that way. Distance. I am so sorry. Please don't clip this. I am unfortunately highly memeable. I am so sorry. But yeah, I like these. Now, if I can get a Sage Newlith, you know I'd be all over that. I love that. I actually have wanted a Sage Newlith. I'm just like talking to the damn camera. I'm sorry, this will take a while. But if there's a Sage Newlith, I want it, please. But anyhow, as I was talking about Warrior before I went full stupid there, was that I honestly used to love it a whole lot, and I raided with it a ton. And it definitely had a huge perks. And Shadowbringers absolutely has insane perks. It's just like I think about myself on Scholar, and I'm just like, oh, if I'm paired with Warrior, I basically don't need to heal. But EOS do something. I need to spam broil a little bit more. I hate saying that, but it's kind of, unfortunately, you know, a little true. But yeah, really, one thing that I should say is that Warrior, I'm torn. Primal Rend with the Fell Cleave combo change up. I like the added mobility. I like that the mobility is no longer tied to the beast gauge. Whatever I was saying before, I'm still gonna mess up my speech a little, unfortunately. Even on camera, probably more because I'm nervous. But compared to the Paladin's combo, it doesn't speak to me to the same level as the Paladin, and like I should say that doesn't make it bad. That doesn't mean anything. My opinion is my opinion, and it should have no bearing on yours. But like in the last video, I put it a little bit lower. I think that I'm actually going to put it in the tier where I need to really think about it. I need to really look at it, play it myself, and see how it resonates. Do I think that I'm gonna like it more than Paladin? I might if I play it and that it really resonates with me, but right now I'm not entirely 100% convinced, unfortunately. And this gets us to Dark Knight, and I'm putting it in D. D for Dark Knight? But if I need to, like, trying to explain, it's just that while Dark Knight is extremely powerful, and I do believe that it will be in Endwalker still very powerful, I don't think that the developers would ever allow a tank to go into an expansion feeling really weak. I think that more than anything, especially because I've played so much Warrior, I've played so much Dark Knight, they have a lot of similarities. I think more than anything, I have really kind of just hit fatigue with its playstyle. It's strong, definitely strong right now. It is very, very strong. In fact, if I had to pick it for like prog, my preferred tank is actually going to be Dark Knight for prog right now in this moment. Endwalker we're obviously going to have to see, but for me, I don't see myself doing it in Endwalker, unfortunately. This brings us now to the Gunbreaker, and I'm trying to not spoilerize it. I know last video that I couldn't stop myself from smiling when I started talking about the Gunbreaker, but honestly, with the quality of life improvements to things like the Gnashing Fang combo, all that bun bloat, oop, raise hands further, all that bun bloat taken and smushed into single bun, amazing. amazing. The additions to the kit I think are going to be very fun, more continuation, bigger burst kind of spender. I'm a fan. I think that the Gunbreaker is going to be very good. That's not even including fun things like Heart of Conundrum. I'm gonna say that wrong for sure. That looks amazing. That's going to be amazing mitigation for tanks. That is also looking at things like 2 Aurora casts. That's on a charge system now, and I'm like, more healing for Gunbreaker. I mean, who's gonna complain about that? Not me. That's gonna be amazing. The real question is, do I see it more than Paladin? And right now, it's like a shake-up between the two. I'm thinking maybe just a touch, maybe just a little touch. I mean, like the smallest touch behind Paladin, but it could easily be that when whim hits that I just level this one or the other first before the other. I'm a fan of Gunbreaker. It's amazing. Healers. First up is gonna be White Mage for the healers. How to say it? I think that even White Mage is going to actually be really fascinating into Endwalker. I have brought up my concerns on the White Mage going into Endwalker, and not everyone agreed with me, and totally good. I'm genuinely happy for that. Like, different perspectives, I'm literally a-okay. Like, if you disagree with me, I am all for that, like, because I like learning different perspectives, and so like that was totally okay. I'm still concerned about it though, because it's like when I think about the White Mage, how to say it, I don't think it's gonna be bad. I think it's gonna be good. Obviously, they're never gonna let a healer be bad, but I am a little worried for it. I think that things, though, even for the White Mage, are going to be fascinating with the 1.5 second cast time. That leaves that weave window, more mobility. Dia, interestingly, got like a 60 potency nerf to Dia's upfront damage. It used to be like 120, and now it's down to 60. So I'm a little worried about that, but ultimately that's gravy because you wouldn't really want to weave with Dia anyhow. I should mention Lilybell. When it comes to absolutely off the wall, insane, amazing cooldowns, Lilybell is way up there. But as comments have definitely indicated on my channel that I'm not going to pretend that I'm ignorant to, I'm losing my words on camera. In like content that isn't like the end of Savage tier, where yes, we had terminal relativity, which is like successive AoE, high volume AoE, one after another, you would use Lilybell and it will be an amazing, basically handcrafted, beautiful answer to that exact scenario. It will solve that in space. It will be immense. It will be beautiful to say the least. But the problem with Lilybell, as I have definitely gone in my comments, is where outside of that kind of situation is this skill going to be good? Because it's just like most forms of content don't do that kind of massive spike damage. If they did, good God, we would have I think that we would have a lot of incredibly unhappy casual players, which would not be something that I'd want. So no. So it's just like Lilybell then becomes, okay, drop it before raid wide. Proactive healing's fun to me, so for someone like me, I like that. But someone who doesn't like that, they'll be like, boo, I don't want this. But they drop it, one raid wide comes in, it helps that one raid wide obviously, but the problem is then the rest of the stacks of Lilybell are useless, and so it basically makes it a decent heal, not amazing. But regardless, I'm thinking that while that is all true, and like my own take on it, like my preference for healers is going to be berry healers just because they play more into the proactive, is that White Mage getting more proactive tools like Aqua Veil. I said Water Veil in my first recording of this, and I'm like, don't be stupid, say Aqua Veil. But that's 15% upfront mitigation, which is going to be amazing. 2 charges of Divine Benison. I think that, especially as someone who plays Scholar, when I need to like go into a fight that I'm not intimately familiar with, I might like, I'll learn like over time, like, oh, the tank buster comes at this time, I need to pre-shield. Got it. But when I'm first learning a fight, or when I'm taking things a little bit more casually, there are tank busters where I'm like, oh god, I don't have that out at the right time, where I would have like a Divine Benison instant cast, diurnal knock, diurnal Astrologian can instantly apply like a Divine Benison equivalent to a Celestial Intersection Shield, but a Nocturnal Ast instant cast barrier on the GCD. It's not Nocturnal Intersection, it is going to be their aspected benefit. That is such a big quality of life change that really made me like the Noctast. Like, it's one of those stupid things where you're just like, just play a little smarter. And I'm like, okay, that's true, but I think that that's ultimately something that's very important. But basically White Mage, I think, is going to be beautiful at handling tank busters. I think it's going to be absolutely beautiful at it. I honestly do. Obviously Astro as well, but shush yourself. Wait until the Astro section for that. But I have talked for like 5 freaking minutes on White Mage, so Ferme la bouche, it's time to move on to the next thing. White Mage, I'm really happy with it. If you put me on White Mage, you know what? I'd be happy with it. I think that their kit, it worries me, but I think that I'd still have an absolute blast. Scholar. Guess? S tier. It always has been S tier for me. It has always had a fun healing kit, in my opinion. My issues with it really purely lie with its DPS kit, and that's going to be a problem that unfortunately does go forward into Endwalker. The fairies, obviously from the media tour footage, improved control. They're more flashy, they're more responsive, or not more flashy, cut that. Even though I'm probably unfortunately going to miss that in editing. I'm going to be like, no, they're going to be more flashy. And then I'm thinking, that is actually going to get people commenting, what do you mean they're more flashy? Dang it. This camera type is way harder, guys. But basically you can do it in parallel. The fairy's more responsive, just because like you can do it in parallel. I say in Fey Union, Aether Pact is the actual skill name that you're going to be using, is Aether Pact, that causes Fey Union to trigger. You can use that. I'm seeing myself using that more because I can now justify it, because it was harder to justify because it's like, I don't want to start Royal spamming. I think that 1.5 second cast time and allowing that GCD weave is going to go very, very, very far for the Scholar. Actually, I really genuinely do. It's gonna make it actually, in my opinion, easier to swallow the hard pills that are like, you are casting broil. You're getting broiled. I think that it's gonna go a long way to actually helping that feeling, because right now, not so great. But I think that when you're having that constant weave, especially because the Scholar has so many obstacle open cooldowns, I think it's gonna feel way better. I really honestly do. Expedient. I do want to mention Expedient here. I know that I've talked about it a little bit on my channel already. It is going to last 20 seconds duration. Guys, sprint in combat lasts 10. Expedient is lasting double that, but a lot of people are missing one fact, or they're not missing it, or maybe they're just not wanting to acknowledge it. Sprint and Expedient don't need to be like replacing one another. It's like you use sprint and expedient, and so what? Sprint you can have up 1/6 of a fight. Okay, gotcha. Expedient is 120 seconds cooldown. Divide that by 2 is 60 seconds. So now we're talking about the same time frame. Now, because we just have that, we have the duration of expedient, so that is taking that 20-second duration, making it 10 seconds. And so what you have here is 10 plus 10, or 1/6 of the time. Now you have 2/6 of the time, aka 1/3 of the fight. Which, remember, even in some of the hardest savage raids, like, you have a lot of downtime. Let's just be honest. Like, even in E12S, like, even in Shiva, like, it's just like, even when you were doing Lights Rampant, you had that initial thing about like, okay, you would want to do the orbs, but sometimes if you use sprint with that, you'd be way too fast and you'd actually whack someone with an orb, and then everything would go to hell. But I digress, but even in Lights Rampant, there was a lot of downtime. I see this definitely being a bonkers slept on skill, especially because it's just like when I think about Final Fantasy XIV, which I love the game, obviously, like this isn't me ragging on it. Most mechanics are resolved by positioning, right? Like I'm thinking about basic relativity, I'm thinking about E11S electric cycles, I'm thinking about lions for E12S, the phase 1. All of these things are largely movement based. I mean, yeah, obviously you have other things like, well, Guest isn't movement based, and I'm like, yes, that's Guest. Put your healing to the test. How to make Cole scream and have nightmares for years and still bring it up years later. Oh god, it was fun. But that would be a case where I would actually like Lily Bell, kind of. It's not like that, you know what I'm just gonna stop being stupid and I'm gonna get to the point. Basically, Scholar, easy S tier. Sacred Soil is going back into there. The Fairy is looking better than ever. Pet Poncy's looking brilliant. I am intensely happy with the Scholar. I think that the Broil spam, it's gonna be great, no, but oh, I should also bring this up. Broil spam, boring in basic content, but when you're talking about more hard content, and especially progging, it is good because humans, I don't know, maybe I look like an alien, it's very possible, I could just be that fugly, but it's just like we have a limited cognitive capacity in our heads, and so it's just like having to heal, having to do mechanics, and then worry about an intricate DPS rotation. It's just like, I kind of wish that I could have like two forms of Scholar, like the, oh, I'm progging an ultimate raid because I'm looking at Dragonsong War at doing that. It'll be Scholar Sage for me because that's the raid spot that I am determined to get. Co-healing with my boyfriend, still making that group, making statics freaking hard, but it's just like I'm thinking about like, okay, during all of that, do I really want to be weaving in 9 dots and I'll get that in camera hopefully. Like, no. I don't want to be doing that on top of that. I will eat the slice of humble pie where I say I would rather not worry about healing and doing the mechanics of an ultimate raid and doing a complicated 9 dot DPS rotation. I will eat my words. I just wish there was a different Scholar with more that I could do. Like a setting in like casual content, just be like, I'm in this dungeon, give me 9 dots. Because Expert Roulette is Art of War, but any Scholar mains know that. Just sorry to any Scholar mains, I'm probably actually upset you, but we know the pain, unfortunately. But regardless, in spite of that, it's an easy S tier. Expect nothing less from me, probably. Ast. Ooh boy, Ast. I'm scared that I'm gonna get dislikes for my opinions on Ast, but please realize that this is highly opinion based, guys. And so Nocturnal Ast was removed, and now Ast is just a diurnal or pure healer. I love Nocturnal Ast. F. No. I'm a little bit more nuanced than that, even though my internal childish reaction is just boot it to F, because god darn it, you killed my Noct Ast. But I'm looking at like some of the skills and like RNG factor of Astrodyne. When are you going to really have it? You're going to technically, even with the 2 card buffs, it's going to be roughly 90 seconds because cards come back at 2 charge. Well, you can store 2 charges of them. They come back every 30 seconds. So theoretically 90-second intervals. Would that 5% DPS buff really be that noticeable on an Ast which already has low personal DPS? It'll be noticeable. Obviously, it's statistically significant by definition, but But at the same point in time, not having that will feel bad. So it's going to be something where it's like, if you don't get it, I guess it's not the end of the world. But I'm the kind of person, and I know myself, and I have the introspection into myself enough that that is probably going to actually irritate the absolute sin out of me, to say the absolute least. But I do have to reel back things. Like, do I enjoy the card management? thumbs up. Absolutely love it. I love buffing allies. Like I've said in past videos on my channel, the number one thing to raid clearing isn't necessarily the individual skill levels. I mean, if people are good, they're good. But at the same point in time, I know many good people that just have not cleared like the entire tier even of Shadowbringers because they just didn't have the right group and they just maybe just didn't have the morale. And so being a cheerleader, buffing people's damage, that is literally probably the most primal, most bestial form of getting someone to feel more morale. This is why I like the Bard, because it's just like you're playing cheerleader. People love big buffs and they cannot lie, though other DPS may deny. When a Bard walks in with an itty bitty personal DPS and a big buff in your face, you get... I need to seriously stop myself. This is the kind of thing that I'd like open up in Audacity and be like, this is too stupid for my channel. But I am going to be trying to be, I guess, more me? Unsubscribe is gonna probably happen. Please, no. I swear I'm not too stupid. Okay, maybe a little. But my main point with the Ast is I love the card system. I love the complexity of it. I have loved the weaving. I know that for a fact. Another thing that I do want to bring up, I'm actually looking at it right here, is Macrocosmos. I think has the potential to be one of the most absolutely stupid, ludicrous, insane heals in the entire game. Like, let's say that you have the entire party's HP drop from full to 10%. Macrocosmos is a beautiful answer to that. Let's say that you had something like multiple successive AoEs, maybe not as strong as Terminal Relativity, but let's say it's like 40%. Okay, heal him up. 40%. Okay, heal him up. 40%. Heal him up. Macrocosmos is going to come in and boom. It's going to be stupid. And this is Macrocosmos. Remember, that's on a 2-minute cooldown. I didn't bring it up with Lilybell. I don't think I did with the White Mage, but it's on a 3-minute cooldown. But and that's why I think Lilybell should also be a 2-minute cooldown, just because Macrocosmos, I think, is going to be absolutely insane. I think that it has the potential, obviously, to cause a lot of overhealing, but if you're with a co-healer that knows, okay, the entire party is going to be 10% HP and I can sleep as like the co-healer does it, one, broil. I see Macrocosmos being absolutely batshit insane. I see it being brilliant. What else do I want to say seeing this list? Exaltation, that's going to be great. It has that 10% damage mitigation and then that spike of HP at the end. That's going to be brilliant. It's going to be brilliant. Neutral Sect, guys, like if you haven't heard me talk about Neutral Sect is or if you don't know what that is, Neutral Sect basically is like, I want to trivialize this mechanic. I press Neutral Sect and that's it. Neutral Sect's good. Tumults for E4S, super good. Terminal Relativity, you don't even care that it's a barrier. It's just more direct healing because the barrier is basically chopped and smacked off of the team so quick that it's just like you can basically spam it and it's good. It applies the hot, 20% more healing. Ast still keeps that, and it's just like, haha, I'm a pure healer, as it applies still pretty freaking ludicrous bears. It is going to be very strong. But I'm also then unfortunately looking at other things like Lord of Crowns versus Lady of Crowns, and that alongside Astrologian makes me a little bit more shy. I can see why that system's there. I like the effects. It's just like, especially Lady of Crowns, I'm thinking about Brog, like holding that kind of card is very, very powerful. But it does make me a bit more shy because it is RNG, and RNG and me have a very, very long history of not playing well together. Cards, I do remember I've seen some comments talking about this too, and I'm still kind of the mind where with the cards, I do still want some kind of spender, even though like the seals, even though like Astrodine's effect isn't, I guess, that amazing, or I could theoretically just pop it off the get-go so I wouldn't need to worry about this case. But I do unfortunately worry about this case where it's just like, okay, what if I want to save up like that next card, because we get 2 charges of the cards. I'm saving that card up for the next upcoming 60-second raid buff window. I need the card to be out, and then I need to pop Astrologian. Maybe I pop Astrologian first and then I get the cards out. That might be an option. But in general, I'm a little nervous about there not being a let's get rid of my currently drawn card in my hand right now kind of tool. I can use undraw, but at that point, are you really wanting to like toast a card just to like keep a seal? And the option that would be a no. Like, even if you could theoretically get 5% more damage on the Ast itself with Astrologian, the Ast does so little personal damage that, you know what, you would be so much better off throwing that card on the Samurai and saying goodbye Astrologian, or not, like, to the 3rd seal for the 3 different seal types. It'd be better to say goodbye. So I really will need to see on the Ast. My god, I just talked about Ast for I think longer than my first video. I am so sorry, guys. You're getting the full in-depth thoughts feelings from me. I should actually probably just do an Ast analysis video, just in depth, just like actually like script it out, think about it really well, make sure that I'm not repeating myself. But for me, Ast, I need to try it out more. I don't know how I feel. I might really like it, I might not. I say that because I know myself as already that the Astrologian effect will make me not upset, but I'll be like, really? Also, only 1 redrop. Okay, I'm getting too far. I'm gonna start shutting up. But I'm putting it in B. I need to see it more. I think that it has the potential to be amazing. Obviously, it's gonna be super strong, but I need to see and play it myself to determine, is this something that I want to play? S tier. Guess. Sage. With the amount of fangirling that I have done about the Sage, did you honestly expect absolutely anything less for the Sage? I am so freaking excited for the Sage, honestly. Damage converted to healing. I have seen a lot of people online unfortunately misunderstand the cardio system, which I have tried to dispel. I have made videos specifically focused on the cardio system. It is basically an Eos or Selene that you can control, but it is a more punishing version of an Eos or Selene, because Eos or Selene, they don't give a darn. They are literally your Durbina fairy. They are literally just going to volley out heals. They don't care what you do. You could be running around the field. They do not care. Sage is quote unquote damage to healing that's breaking the game. You're not going to be proccing cardio. It's 170 potency of healing as of media tour footage. It's 170 potency, but you're not going to be proccing that if you are not doing DPS spells. And so in a lot of ways, it is significantly more punishing than just having like the Scholar's Fairy. And so this is actually something that makes even me take pause on maybe it would be better to level up Scholar before the Sage explicitly, because I think that I will have an easier time learning and doing like the initial extreme fights, blah blah blah, on Scholar than Sage. Even I'm kind of having a little bit of a pause at that, so we'll really have to see. But what else am I supposed to say about the Sage that I haven't said 1,000 times on this channel? Good quality of life. I really like that its kit just flows. I think that I don't actually necessarily think that it's going to be more difficult than Scholar. I think that it has a dependency that you need to DPS, but you don't have the things like dissipation lockouts. You don't have the things like, and making sure that you even use dissipation in the first place, because there are many scholars that just simply will not use the skill. I see Sage as being very, very fun to play. However, I am very interested in seeing what Phlegma is going to be doing with the Sage. I am very interested in just pretty much everything. So obviously, it being S tier beside the Scholar, everyone's going to wonder, which one are you going to level first? I've thought about it. I'm just like on my tier list. Maybe for the second recording I would know better. No. I wish I could say I do, but I do not. And so now we are going to be talking about the melee DPS, and I should preface this saying that I'm not the biggest melee fan. I have had many points, many points where I have thoroughly enjoyed playing a melee DPS. So with this section, keeping that in mind takes a lot of the things that I say with a giant grain of salt. This is highly preference based. There is nothing wrong with positionals in this game. It's just not how I personally want to be playing the game myself. But that's a discussion that I've actually already had my discussion on and like talked about in length in my channel. Unfortunately, this brings us up to the big D for Dragoon. Media tour changes were not really exciting for me personally. I used to play Dragoon a lot. I even wrote an ultimate guide on it, but really ultimately I kind of hit fatigue with the Dragoon. I got to the point where it was like, oh my god, don't make me do another dungeon on Dragoon. I think it's I know it is very powerful. It is very mobile. There are many good things about the Dragoon, but for me personally, I can explain how to optimize it, I can explain what you want to do, I can explain the positionals, I can explain the rotations, off global cooldowns, all of these things like Nastron to blah blah blah. But me personally, I don't enjoy playing it, and so unfortunately it is going into D tier for Endwalker. Oh, I lost my cursor here. Oh no, this is rough guys, I'm sorry, I'm trying. This camera is so different for me. And now we're talking about the monk, and this is going to be one that I know a lot of people love, and you know what, if you love it, do not let this discourage you. Same with the Dragoon or anything on this tier list. If you love it, oh my god, I'm just one dude and this is just a preference based video, and enjoy it. Like, I think that the monk really does look like it's going to be really fun to play and really exciting, and it's obviously going to be very powerful going into Endwalker. But for me personally, even with the rework, straight into F tier. If I said anything else, guys, would you honestly believe me? Like, real talk here is, if I made a monk ultimate guide, it would be the same reaction, or I'd hope it would be the same reaction from you guys of going, what is this doing on Cole's channel? I hope that would be your reaction, but it should be the same reaction as if I did a Black Mage ultimate guide. Like, what the hell? Why is this on Cole's channel? Cole is not a Black Mage player. Cole has never really been a Black Mage player. What is this doing here? Yeah, I know. It's just not for me. It's a great thing. It is amazing. The rework looks amazing. But I'm not about to start peddling lies and say that it's for me. Unfortunately, that is that. But if you enjoy it, absolutely all the power to you, and you should keep enjoying it. Don't let me discourage you. Like, the monk rework honestly looks like a blast. It's not for me, but it looks looks like a blast. I kind of bit my tongue there. Ninja. This is a curious case, and I'm really actually genuinely curious what people are gonna think that I put here. Like, if I'm actually gonna be looking and searching for the comments, explicitly guessing where I put ninja. I originally in my first video said that I was gonna put it at A, and then I bumped it up to S, and yeah. I love it. I love the mobility. The mobility is even going to be better next expansion because, and yeah, I watch Naruto, okay? Like, they are literally getting freaking Chidori, and I am... It is everything that I've wanted since I was literally like a preteen. Like, this is amazing. Like, this is actually freaking amazing, guys. Like, I'm just like, oh my god, I get to be like Sasuke or Itachi or like giving me Chidori. How dare you? Like, this is the one thing that makes me think, in Endwalker, could you play as a ninja in raids? And I'm like, probably. I'd probably have an absolute blast of a time. It looks amazing. But sorry, I should get into more things. Mobility, trick attack window feels really good. The opener, very busy, very snappy. It's just like, I remember one comment was, it's just like, oh, you're like breaking your hands on the keyboard, and like, I love that. Speedy gameplay is extremely thrilling for me. It feels very rewarding to execute your combos correctly. Positionals, you guys know my thoughts on that, and if you've like played Ninja, you already know that they basically have no positionals really. They have like one positional, the rest is hit from behind. Like, make sure that you're behind for trick attack. Like, big whoop-de-doo, don't care. It's very, very easy on the Ninja. Endwalker changes, nothing short of badass. I am freaking happy. You gave Ninja more changes that I really like, and I'm actually easily keeping it in S tier before with the Paladin and the Gunbreaker. I was already a big fan of the Ninja. You gave me more reasons to be a big fan of the Ninja. I haven't talked about Ninja nearly enough on my channel. I freaking love it. The Mudra system, getting the ninjutsu up there, the custom like stuff. Even if you're looking at like Deep Dungeon, oh my lord, Ninja is actually freaking fun for that. Like take it into like House of the Dead. That is a rewarding experience. That feels good. And not to mention, I like to go and hit him from behind. Ah, meow. Meow? Should I meow into the camera? Meow. Oh my god. I'm being stupid. I'm sorry. Next one. And so for the Samurai, I think it's an amazing job. It brings the big DPS. It is very, very, very strong. Undeniably. Only, like, I will not be a dummy and say, the Samurai is not a good job. It is amazing. But unfortunately, and it is a big Nicki Minaj or Cardi B sized butt. I enjoyed it when I was first doing it, but unfortunately it got to the point where I felt very fatigued of it very fast. It felt very Dragoony to me. I know, don't get me wrong, they are very different things with very different openers, please don't get me wrong, but when I was playing it, the best way I can think about describing it was it felt very Dragoony. Like I started to feel like I was going into that same rhythm. It was just like really super fun. Like if you looked at my Delirium Regane footage, you would have seen a lot of monk, a lot of samurai. I loved it so much. But after a while, I kind of got to the point with it where it was like I'm not getting fun from this. In fact, I'm starting to dread going into Delirium Regane with this. And so that is why I am actually looking, unfortunately, at putting this into C. Not that it's bad, not that it's not fast-paced, it is amazing. And low skill speed builds are very, very, very fast on the Samurai and very rewarding, but not for me. Reaper is very easily an S tier. I, kind of similar to the Ninja, was initially putting it into the A tier, but you know what? I'm not gonna play stupid and not be like, oh, I forget that I've made that change. I know that I should do it for like the drama of the video. Oh, the drama, do the drama. But nah. It's easy S tier, and honestly, in terms of Reaper, my god, it is freaking amazing from top to bottom. I'm not just looking at the aesthetics. Obviously the aesthetics, like I am literally in an RGB lit room. My setup is not done. It is going to be even more stupid, as you saw. Like I had the Shadowmourne, I had the Frostmourne. It's going to be really amazing. So the aesthetics, you know, on fleek. I also need like RGB like ears. I still need to find out where those are. I have no idea where to get them, but like with the color change, it'd be cool. And like get those integrated into the Steam Deck. I might need to actually make them myself. That could be a fun video. I need to focus on the Reaper. I'm so sorry. I'm just looking at things. Even they get utility, like Arcane Crest, which is going to be a self barrier that when that breaks, applies like a regen to people. It's what, around like 500 potency right now. Actually, unfortunately, working off of memory because I wish I had the Reaper Skeleton right here, but alas, I do not. But it's currently at like a 30-second cooldown, or it is at a 30-second cooldown, which makes it very, very available AoE healing, which makes even me looking at the Dancer with improvisation at like 2-minute cooldown being like, like the Reaper provides a metric ton of utility through that. Like healers will notice when there is a Reaper in a party versus not, which makes me very glad that a lot of people are going to be playing Reaper. Please use this freaking skill. You will be helping out your healers, because like an AoE burst of not burst, but AoE trickle of heal like that, which amounts to a significant amount over time, is definitely going to be noticed. I can say that, especially if it's every 30 bloody seconds. Like, I don't know if they're going to nerf it in the media tour or what, but like just looking at that was crazy. But I'm even looking at things like the life cycles of it. Like I like compliment the Summoner a lot for its life cycles of play, or even the Paladin where it's going through the physical versus magical life cycles for the Paladin. I'm getting a lot of those vibes with the Reaper, which makes me feel incredibly pleased with the Reaper. I know that I like that. Not to mention that when they are actually in their enshrouded form, that they are getting very similar to the Machinist in their Heat Blast form, where they activate Hypercharge. They are going into a 1.5 second on global cooldown, and then they get to weave in various off global cooldowns between that. Not to mention the avatars, like their off GCD abilities. I'm just like, everything works for me. Also, if I should end that point with saying, I freaking love the Machinist. It feels great having the GCD go up and then down, and the off global cooldowns, and thumbs up through the absolute roof for the Reaper. It's just like, now that I've looked at the skill list, now that I've explored the rotation on my own, which I should probably actually do a video, but I suck at YouTube, by the way. This is all kind of just fun for me, but I should probably do that, shouldn't I? I should probably actually reveal what I've like looked into for it, which basically my point is Reaper, easy as it's going. Great, actually, unfortunately before Ninja, or fortunately, I don't know, but I'm a fan. I'm a huge fan of the Reaper. I could definitely be playing melee DPS in raids next expansion, and I could easily be very happy. Oh, yes. Another thing, there's basically no positionals. They have Gallows and Gibbet. That's all. Their basic 1, 2, 3 doesn't even have it. Reaper is amazing. It's like perfect for me. I'm sorry, it is like amazing. Now, physical ranged DPS, and this gives me a lot of concern to be doing a video talking about this and just giving my honest feelings, because it's something I'm slightly torn on, because I have played a ton of them this expansion, and I'm at the point where I'm genuinely fatigued by them. If you told me that I'd have more, like 2 more years of this, I would probably be like, oh. But as I'm gonna go through all the jobs, that it doesn't apply to all of them, generally speaking. So how to say physical range DPS, I love their playstyle, I love the mobility, I love the ability to be the cheerleader of the party and all the utility that it brings. I love dealing with ranged DPS mechanics, being able to provide my skill to help melee uptime strategies be a thing feels amazing. I love it. It feels freaking good. It's like, not only am I helping you with buffs, but I'm actually helping you with mechanics. It feels freaking rewarding. So what I think about these, I'm gonna just be honest about my opinions. They're still amazing, all of them, but some of them I don't see playing forward. Some of them I don't see myself playing going forward, I should say. Oh my god, sometimes I say things really wonky, I'm sorry. So let's talk Bard first, because this is going to be insanely easy for me to talk about. First off, it is extremely stimulating to play. You have so many things going off. You are changing songs, you're managing your dots, you are going to be getting procs of various things, of bloodletter procs coming in. You're going to be making it so that you need to get your Apex arrow. That's also getting another thing added to it going into Endwalker. You are buffing the party constantly with your songs. You are also making sure that you apply battle voice, which is a very significant buff to the party, which is, by the way, getting its cooldown reduced to 120 seconds in Endwalker, which is down by it's down by 1/3 to be 2/3. I was thinking about how to say that. It used to be 180 seconds, now it's 120, so it's down to be 2/3 of its original cooldown, which aligns better in raid buff windows. I'm just so happy with that change alone, but not to mention they had to go and do it, didn't they? They had to go and do it to us. They added freaking Radiant Finale, which is another amazing DPS buff, which basically you play your songs, you get through all 3 of them, you get this, oh my god, that is exactly what I wanted for the Bard. Not to mention, I didn't even get into another change. We are also getting 2 charges of the Blood Arrow being able to be, or Rain of Death being allowed to be charged up, which is going to be relieving a whole ton of pressure. That was actually one of my number 1 changes, or number 1 I don't want to say grievances, but grievances with the Bard was making sure that I was getting that out. It would lead to some unfortunate, very janky, very questionable triple weaving, if I'm frank, and most Bards know the kind of pain as those procs are coming and making sure that they get out. But it's like, oh wait, I have Empyrean Arrow, wait, I need to solved problem in Endwalker. Unfortunately, that seemed to make some people mad because they're like, now you have just made the Bard easy, and I'm like, but it's fun. But for me, when I'm talking about the Bard, I love its rotation. I love it. I know a lot of people will not like me for saying that it's great, but I love it. I love it. It keeps me engaged, and I cannot say that about all jobs in 14, unfortunately. It doesn't matter how long I play Bard. I've been playing Bard for far too freaking long. If I'm quite direct with you, it's gonna easily land in S tier for me. I'm very, very happy with it, and it is very, very better than ever, actually, I will say. Looking better than ever going into Endwalker. Not to mention Nature's Monet. That is always going to be right now it's not the most noticeable thing, but you know what, the healing amp is going to be a healing amp. It has amazing synergy with things like Scholars ad Loquium. Getting that out there onto the party with deployment tactics, thumbs up to that. But also the Warden's Pian I'm trying. I'm gonna regret that. But basically, you can precast an Asuna. That is the only precasted Asuna in game. That is the only Asuna outside of the healer role action Asuna in the game. It is amazing, and I wouldn't trade that. Especially because Endwalker is a new expansion. From all of the reports I'm hearing is the difficulty of content, like the dungeons that were played in the media tour, definitely was ramped up. I will not be trading in that Asuna because I don't know what we're gonna see. It could be absolutely game changing. Bard, I've already said it now, and I'm gonna end it again saying S tier very, very easily. Now we're talking about the Machinist, and Machinist over the past few years has really just become comfort food. You know what? It has become that beaten up, worn out pair of shoes for me that I can slip on and I will be comfortable, but not bored on. And whatever happened with the Machinist, I don't know if it's because it has that GCD that goes up. I don't know if it's because reassemble drill no jutsu, as I did that stupid short where it's just like pot reassemble pot then drill. Like, I don't know if that's just what caught on with it. I don't know if it's the opener. I don't know if it's summoning Bob. Maybe a combination of all of it. I'm not bored of it. It's comfort food. I am happy with the Machinist. It's really that nice comfortable pair of shoes that you just put on when you just want to lay back and relax. I love the Machinist dearly, and in a large sense, I'm quite glad that it's the same. And now I unapologetically really do want to do the same thing that I randomly improved in my last video, which is going to be the Machinist is perfect. The Machinist is beautiful. The Machinist is a model. The Machinist could walk out into the battlefield in a diaper, and you know what? You're darn right. I would still say, oh, Machinist, your everything is beautiful. I'm an idiot, I'm sorry. But I had to do that. I just improved it last video, and you know what? It works. And is Cole gonna make another Drag Race reference? Probably a few before we're done this video. But basically, like, the Machinist is brilliant. I have nothing to complain about. Like, Chainsaw is going to be another way that you can be really getting more battery gauge. More battery gauge means more Bob. More Bob, me happy. I'm basic. I don't care. You line up Bob with the 60-second reassemble window. No different than you do now. You get 2 charges of reassemble, which I don't really get. I don't really actually get why we're getting 2. Like, what is that meant to change in the long term? And it's just like, okay, that's going to be like the opener, but really fundamentally you are still doing drill at 0, drill at 20. So that drill at 20 is technically going to be your first drill at 40, second drill, drill at 60, third drill, which that reassemble is going to come in at 55 seconds just before that third drill, letting you know that you are in a 60-second raid buff window. The Machinist with internal timers. I can't stress this enough in any of my Ultimate Guide videos. Internal timers for your job makes sanity checks and keeping yourself on track so freaking good. But do I see reassemble 2 charges changing anything outside the opener? No. I'm basically going to be just throwing it on chainsaw probably. Knowing myself probably. But really, how to say it? Machinist, it's beautiful. Obviously it's S tier. Is it before the Bard? Is it not? I really don't know. Pick or choose. I love both. They're comfort food. Dancer. The first thing that I want to say when I say this is that the Dancer is factually great. It's very powerful. Don't let this discourage you. If you love the Dancer, keep on loving it. Love it. I think that it is an amazing job. And Avant 3 charges in and of itself with the mobility is huge. Machinist has nothing like it, and Bard's particular leap back is going to be a lot harder to use and obviously less readily available than 3 charges in a row. Endwalker's changes for the Dancer, I'm just going to be blunt, did not give me what I wanted. I was looking for more buffs, more party, make the Dancer fleshed out into the party utility direction, kind of like what they did with the Bard, which is why the Bard, I see myself playing way more than the Dancer. That's why the Bard I just praised for basically a few minutes straight. Starfall Dance being the Dancer's capstone, honestly, I don't want to say it bummed me out. It just was not what I personally wanted, and obviously this is just one dude's opinion. The developers should not be tailoring their game to one dude's opinion, period. Like, and that's why I say, like, this is very based on what you want. And where I'm unfortunately going to be putting the Dancer is D for Dancer, or D for please don't make me play this. I have hit the point of intense fatigue, like the same level as Dragoon. I can't do the Dancer anymore. I mean, obviously I could, but it's just not fun for me. And it's just like, at this point, if I want to play cheerleader to the team or buff bot, the Bard is just beating the Dancer on that front in spades. And obviously the Dancer hasn't lost anything, it can still do it. But for me, I'm not really, it's not something that I see myself really playing into Endwalker, unfortunately. But if you love it, play it. Like, but for me personally, no, not for me personally. Casters, and first up is Black Mage. Black Mage is strong. Don't get me wrong. Black Mage is strong. I have spent probably literally tens if not hundreds of hours just on Black Mage, and a lot of it was just trying to like figure things out, see if I can push myself to learn it and be adept at it. But my problem isn't understanding the rotation. The rotation, if anything, is one of the easiest in the game for me to understand. Peace and love. But the issue was all, okay, now you understand that rotation, make it work when an orange marker is here. Make it work when you have to move across the field. It became less of a question of, can I execute this rotation? And it became more of a question of, okay, execute this rotation while you have like a set of mechanics and conditions to do, which made it very, very unfortunately difficult for me, more difficult than pretty much any job. It's just like, Monk, I can get on that. You give me like a week and like give me a little bit of exposure, I will be performing extremely well on it. No problem. Black Mage, not the case. I've tried it. People on Discord have heard my like death rattle of like my fucking when I'm on Black Mage, and it's not the best thing for me to be on. So unfortunately it just doesn't click for me, and so I'm putting in an F. It's very strong though. Do not misinterpret this as the Black Mage being weak. It is stupid strong, and it's still going to be stupid strong going into Endwalker, but not for me. Now we're just going to be talking about the Red Mage. And see, the Red Mage, I'm actually genuinely impressed with the changes. The magic barrier, that utility is going to be insanely powerful. Like, that is going to be very, very, very strong. And the rotation being 50 mana rather than 80 of the black and white manas means much more melee time, which I'm a big fan of that, because that makes me feel like I'm playing actually the red mage, where it's like a flow in between like the melee combat as well as the caster combat. Right now it feels like you're kind of like a caster, and then you go and you do like a melee combo once in a blue moon, even though the melee combo is obviously devastatingly strong. Other things like big changes like embold and impacting magic DPS and healers now, that's a huge change. That not enough people are making a big deal of that. It's always been melee and like tanks, or physical and tanks. I should be careful when I say that. This is going to be great. You get 2 charges on the engagement and displacement, and then like you get the corpse to corpse. It's stupidly mobile. Big fan. 420 potency of damage on the Fleesh skill or Fletch. That's going to be really fun. Like, I think that the red mage out of almost any job was a very clear, solid winner going into Endwalker. It wasn't major changes. It didn't need to be major changes. The red mage is amazing. For what I said about Machinist is what a whole lot of people are saying about the red mage. It didn't need more changes. It just needed a little bit more into itself, which is really what I saw the developers doing here. Oh my god, manification. Now that's a burst of it rather than like doubling, so now it's more on demand. The red mage is still very much the red mage that people know and very much love today. Probably one of the most beloved jobs in the entire game, if I'm to be quite frank. So question becomes, where do I put it? And I just said a lot of positive things, and I'm going to look at my history as well as really think, where would I actually be playing this? And if history has shown to me anything, it's like I avoided playing red mage unless I was progging something people want me on red mage, or I was in something like doing Eureka, for instance, where the reses was literally game changing. Does that mean that it's bad? No, not at all. That is going to be like other people's super S+++ is going to be red mage, but for me, I'm putting it at A, just behind white mage. It's still excellent, but not for me. Summoner, S tier. It's going right there with Scholar, and this should be the most unsurprising thing that you have ever heard ever. I mean, my Summoner Ultimate Guide is over 100,000 views, and I made that out of pure passion when I was at like 200 subscribers, and literally no one knew me, and it just, my love for the Summoner is so huge, and it was there before, obviously. Like, I've been playing Scholar Summoner basically since 2.0 non-stop. And like, obviously when I saw the Summoner, I was like everyone else, like, ooh, flashy, this is amazing. Oh, big colors, every group at a time. Oh my god, this is amazing, so cool looking. But then I got the toolkit and I was like, whoa, hold up here. It's just like, you can look, one thing that I should say is, you can look as nice and good and flashy as you want. That is not gonna make me log onto the game and play it. Like, there are many classes that I can say are very flashy, but I will not play. But the Summoner, when I actually got the toolkit and actually checked it out, I was like, this is amazing. You have the utility, you have the life cycles, you have it even more into the summons, you have a huge amount of mobility, you still have Resurrect, you still have the ability to offer the healings, and even more with Rekindle from Phoenix. I don't even know what to say. This is gonna be something I play far too much. Overall, I'm stunningly impressed with the Summoner, and that's really what I'm gonna leave it on. It is, you know what, you deliver everything that I could have possibly wanted and more with it. If I wasn't so like dead set on healing, I would pretty much be knocking over anyone and everyone in order to play the Summoner, probably. It's amazing. So now we've gone to the conclusion of the video, and this leaves us at the like overall picture of it. And I think more than anything in particular, what really is standing out to me is that in Final Fantasy XIV going into Endwalker is just the sheer diversity and the range of like different jobs that I personally want to play, and I am insanely picky. If history has ever proven that, we don't talk about the games there, but there have been games where I'm like, I literally have no idea what to play as, and that is truly like the polar opposite of what I'm feeling for 14, which is amazingly good to say. I think that's always one thing that most people are a little concerned about, like, will an expansion ruin my class? Will an expansion have anything that I want to actually play when everything is said and done? And for me, I'm so blessed for that. One thing that I should say is I'm not worried about balance. The 14 devs have proven year after year, patch after patch, expansion after expansion, they place a heavy emphasis on making sure that things are going to be balanced and fair, and that everyone gets invited to the party. That it's going to be like, you're not going to pick someone just because they play a Dragoon rather than a Ninja. Both are going to be amazing. And I'm just thinking about like even just looking at the tier list, like it's just like, even just in S and S plus tier, so like my highest of the high rankings, there are 9 jobs. And so that is going to be Sage, Scholar, Summoner, Machinist, Bard, Reaper, Ninja, Paladin, and Gunbreaker. We're talking about one job from everything. Sage, Scholar, obviously healers, Summoner, Caster, Machinist and Bard, Ranged Physical DPS, Reaper, Ninja, Melee DPS, Paladin, Gunbreaker. Those are tanks. What? Like, there are so many things that I want to play. The only one would be Caster DPS, where I'm only looking at Summoner in here, but everything else has 2 jobs in that category that I'm looking at playing. Like, that is a pretty freaking fantastic and solid lineup, and I was being picky here. Like, could I play White Mage? Absolutely. Could I play Red Mage? Yeah, I'd want to, yeah, but it's just like, why would I do that when there's Summoner? Just kind of see what I get there. It's just like the Red Mage is gonna be like amazing, but it's just like Summoner though. So I'm absolutely pleased going into Endwalker, to say the least. Just looking at this tier list, it's amazing. And really, that kind of brings us to the conclusion of the video, where I'm gonna ask you guys, like, in the comments, what were you right when you guessed? Were you wrong when you guessed? What are your thoughts, really? And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually gonna be snooping the comments for real, just like I did on my last video. Obviously, that is what inspired me to do the retake of this video and check my audio quality, which is definitely better, a lot better than it was. Yeah, I guess that I'm just gonna see what everyone says. Probably a lot of people are spoilerized from my last video, but we're gonna see. Anyhow, that's really all for this video. Thank you for putting up with my camera shenanigans, trying to get this whole setup. Please forgive me for any snafu. That was a pretty big snafu on the last one. But yeah, anyhow, take care everyone, and I hope that everyone actually has a fantastic, glorious, amazing day, and that you are as hyped for Endwalker as I am. And actually, this is going to lead us into Friday. We are getting live letter. I am not going to do that stream, and I'm not going to do that camera, because I'm going to try and get the information condensed and to you guys as quick as possible, just because I know a lot of people like the super condensed format. And you know what, I am just here to, like, I guess, be a steward to the community or whatever. I don't know, but it's fun to me, even because it's just like, for me myself, I like having like things just condensed, easy references, and so it's a lot of fun for me. But anyhow, that does it for this retake of this video, and hopefully I haven't totally botched it. Yeah, thank you so much for your patience, intensely appreciate it. Anyhow, hope to catch you in the next one.